Suzy Newman, aka Suzy Brandtastic, and we're here at Mod Cup in Jersey City Heights. And my guest today is Skolar. She is a broker and owner of Century 21 Plaza Realty on Kennedy Boulevard. She is also the president of the Jersey City Parks Coalition and a board member of the Jersey City Reservoir Preservation Alliance. Welcome, Laura.
Hi. I just have to say one thing. And president of Pershing Garden Friends.
Oh yes, of course. You got to get that in too.
Thank you. Thank you.
She's a busy girl. Lady.
Thanks.
Woman.
Girl's okay.
Okay, so we're going to talk about Jersey City Heights and the surrounding area, and you know what it's like here for the residents and for people who are moving to this area. Sort of, you know, what can they expect, and you know, why is the Heights becoming a place that, you know, people want to move to?
Okay. Well, I'm a little bit biased towards the Heights. I love Jersey City, but I grew up in the Heights. I live in the Heights now, and my business is in the Heights, so I'm a little bit biased. But I think that what's happened over the last several years, many years, is that people are drawn to the cities in general because of their convenience to Manhattan. So of course, transportation is really a priority for people that are wanting to live in this area. So the downtown area benefited from that because of the numerous path stations. And that kind of gave it its real impetus. But fortunately, over the years, we now have the light rail. And the benefit of the light rail is that that now has started to make people aware of other neighborhoods in Jersey City. Because of course, as people start moving into, say, the downtown area, or if we get the ripple effect from Manhattan, Hoboken, downtown, some of these areas become price prohibitive. And so people have to look at other alternatives. So, you know, the transportation is still an issue. They want other amenities. But when you think of what the light rail has done for the northern part of the Heights, what it's done for the west side of Jersey City in that, you know, in that NJCU area, and also the Bergen-Lafayette area, you can see how that the benefit of the transportation then lends itself to people coming into a neighborhood. So it's kind of like you have your transportation, you have people coming into the neighborhood, and then they need the amenities. And that's where then the businesses, you know, they say, oh wow, this looks like an up and coming area, I think I'd like to
open a store here.
A store here.
So for an example, you know, here we are in Mod Cup, and so this is very interesting and, you know, original type of coffee shop for this area. And so what do you think it's going to do to this community right here? And you know, there was this New York Times article just recently about how Brooklynites couldn't afford the properties over there anymore, and so they were moving to this area, and they were a little unsure, but then all of a sudden they saw this Mod Cup, and they were like, oh, just like in Brooklyn, so they felt at home. So how can a business that opens change the sort of the landscape of a neighborhood?
Well, I think what happened is that there was definitely a need for a cafe in the Heights, and you know, so there was such a pent-up desire for it that the anticipation was almost like overwhelming. And so Mod Cup, fortunately, because of their business and the way they had gone out, you know, basically they were in farmers markets and street fairs and stuff like that. So they were able to give a good product that people were familiar with. So they opened this location, and people were, it was almost like, I want to say, chomping at the bit, right? But I think what it does for a neighborhood, when somebody comes into a neighborhood and they are obviously successful, then it gives other businesses a shot in the arm or confidence that, you know, oh wow, look, the neighborhood is calling for this. So something may not exist right now, but it certainly shows to possibly an entrepreneur that, yes, this is something that could be successful.
So then would other stores start to look on this avenue? Or would they start to branch out and move a few blocks away? Or
well, again, what we're seeing happening, people come, yes, they would most likely want to be on Palisade Avenue. Obviously, there are plenty of storefronts here that, would the owners of those storefronts would certainly benefit by having a quality tenant. That's number one. The whole landscape itself of Palisade Avenue would change, but then there's also Central Avenue, which is our main shopping district. And again, people are really desirous of having quality stores, restaurants, that they can go to.
And on Central Avenue, unfortunately, we have a lot of closings and not as many openings. So would that be a wave that would, it would take its time to come up? Or if somebody sees a prime location, what is it that they just, they can be the first to sort of go in there? Like, for example, what's the name of the new place?
Orange and Olive.
Orange and Olive, right.
Yeah.
So they went in on Central Avenue, and is that going to do the same kind of thing to Central Avenue?
Well, we would hope that is. Like when they came in there, again, why did they go there to Central Avenue? Why did they get that huge space and invest that money into this space? Because the initial cost of getting in there was reasonable, right? Okay, so they were able to get in to a good location. It offered what they needed, and it was reasonable, okay? So again, other people that want to open up on whether it be Palisade Avenue or Central Avenue, they're not going to be paying the same thing that they would pay in Hoboken or downtown Jersey City. So, and the potential, I think that people are starting to recognize the potential here. And that's really, and Central Avenue, yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that there hasn't been more, more good places. I mean, I think we've seen, like Noodle Fan has opened up there. That's a cute little restaurant.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Noodle Fan is up at the end of, right up by North Street. Yep, that's a restaurant. But again, you also need quality stores that are going to be there too.
So let's change gears a little bit and talk a little bit about the Jersey City Parks Coalition, and maybe you could talk a little bit about your role in managing all these different parks with all the different missions, and sort of how working within the parks to raise awareness not only about the environment and the landscape, but also to attract people to want to come to the parks for entertainment. So we have like the movies in the parks, and we have the farmers market and flea markets and all these different things. So how does all of that operate, and how does that also help to change neighborhoods?
Well, let me first say that many moons ago, like in the late 1800s, 1900s, people didn't travel and go, they didn't have the accessibility to travel the way we do today, that they could go to a beach somewhere or, go to a park. They were a little more centralized in, in being a little bit more homebound because of, it's the late 1800s, early 1900s. So the parks at that time really served as a place for them to relax, recreate, and also just socialize. It was a hub. It was literally a hub. So now what we're finding is, even though people do have the mobility now, they also want to be able to utilize their local parks. Okay, and so that became very evident. The Parks Coalition started in 2004 because of renovations that were done in Van Voorst Park. The founder of the Parks Coalition, Cliff Waldman, he was responsible for the major renovation in Van Voorst Park and what he called the community empowerment approach. And what our philosophy has always been is that if you get people interested, if you get children interested and caring for their park, they take ownership of it. Okay, so what they do is they then want to protect it. Okay, and that's where you see when there's a vested interest in the community of a local park. Those are the ones that really become like Riverview. I mean, when I was a kid, this was my neighborhood park. Okay, I was not allowed to play in the park. I played in the street, literally in the street, because it was safer than being at the park. Because it was a drug haven. It was crime, vandalism, and drugs in the park. And that was in the 60s and 70s when there was urban flight and people left the cities. That's what happened. The parks fell into decay.
Wow. So
now we're seeing a renaissance.
Right, exactly. So how does all the activities that we have now sort of help shape the cultural awareness that's going on in this area? I mean, it seems like I've lived in the Heights for well, not quite, but coming up on maybe 10 years, 9 or 10 years, and it only seems like in the last year that all of a sudden there's like a flurry of concerts and art exhibits and farmers market and this and that. There's stuff to do, not to the point now where we're all talking about Jersey City, Jersey City Fridays, and how there's so many things to do in the Heights.
Right.
The whole evening we may never get to downtown at all.
Right.
So how does that, obviously that's good for a community. And, when it comes to sort of real estate, let's say, how does that really change the structure?
Well, I think what happens is, again, that it becomes a more neighborhood, family-oriented place to be. And so people are attracted to it. And, you see it happening. When you say, oh, it seems like it's only a year, I think, and you're right, I mean, over this last year to 2 years, there has been definitely, more activities in this particular neighborhood, and also in the Greenville neighborhood. They're having galleries and things like that. But I really think that people have been working behind the scenes for a long time, in making this sort of thing happen. And it also sometimes has to do with economics. We went through a very rough, period of time in, 2008 through 2010, where things were very stagnant. Even in the commercial real estate market, you weren't having businesses open up. You weren't having people taking that risk because they just couldn't do that. So it's almost like sometimes there's a convergence of opportunity and just being at the right place at the right time. You know what I mean? The economics of it. You know what I mean? So there might be this underlying buzz of things going on, and then boom. It seems like, oh wow, that happened overnight, when really it didn't happen overnight.
Right.
But it's great that it happened.
Right. Well, I mean, maybe it's social media that really helped get all these people to know everybody else, and the freeness of being able to share all those events with your friends really sort of got people to start congregating.
Sure. Yeah.
So, the last question I'm going to have is if you could just talk a little bit about the beautification of Jersey City, and how you go about that, and how you get volunteers, and what's in store.
Great. Well, again, the Jersey City Parks Coalition, we reach out to volunteers. We are on Facebook. We have a website, and basically a lot of our outreach is done within our own park groups. We all have it. So the coalition is an umbrella for individual parks groups, And the whole coalition, the group of the 22 member parks, make us a stronger organization when it comes to grants and, you know, getting things for our parks. There's strength in numbers,
Right.
okay? And in terms of outreach, yes, we do that through social media. We also do our annual spring plantings. We have the big dig coming up in the fall. We're actually, for this year's project, we're going to engage homeowners to plant in their front yards.
Nice.
And so that we bring it from, you know, our public parks, public spaces, we did our public housing, and now we're doing our private residences, so that, you know, the beautification gets extended to people's front yards.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today, and look forward to seeing what's going on.
Great. I look forward to being a part of it.
All right.
And thank you for your participation too.
Always happy to help.
Great.
All right,
Suzy.
thanks.
All right.